Okay, let's get started with the GCP using a web browser. First, let's look at the project. Remember that when we signed up for Google account, basically Google created the very first project automatically, which is my first project here, right? Now, if you like, you can go ahead and create a new project. In fact, let's do that. I'm just going to give Silly Billy and note that your project ID will be very unique and you cannot change it once you created a project, but I can always change your project name. So the project is getting created, and if you see that notification, it's just saying that create project Silly Billy. Let's wait for the project to be created. Okay, the project Silly Billy is created, and we can access our projects by going here and then selecting the appropriate project. And note that whatever resource that you're going to create now, like your Google VM or Cloud Load Balancer, DNS, whatever, that will all end up under my first project because that's by default chosen, right? If I want to choose the next project, and then I can choose Silly Billy. Now, just a gentle reminder about the use of projects. For example, let's say you run a web development company and you have two different clients, right? One client could be spinning up hundreds of VMs and the other client could be spinning only a few VMs, and you want to manage their billing. You basically want to manage their billing and resources effectively, right? And that's what the project is there for. Okay, so we have seen the use of a project there. Now let's look at the Google Cloud Start menu. This is the Google Cloud Start menu, at least I call it a start menu, and you have all your Google's resources here, like your compute, storage, networking, Stackdriver, and so on. Let's take a look at billing for a second. Here, what I suggest us to do here is to create a budget and alert. Although Google won't bill you if you exceed that $300, because like we saw in the previous slide, it will actually send you an email. But still, it's a best good idea to set a budget and alert. And creating a budget alert is straightforward. Just click budget and alert and create budget, and then let's give it a name. Let's say budget 1, and I can choose my billing account. Note that I have only one billing account, and that billing account is linked to both the projects I have. And I'm going to set the specific budget amount here. I'm going to say just take a note of £100 and alert me, or if it is like 50%, 90, or 100. Note that whatever amount you specify here, Google automatically fills the percentage, and I can change this percentage too. If you want to like 25% of £100, just alert me on £25, right? And I'm going to click save, and the budget is getting saved, and then you will automatically get an email if it is close to the if it is getting to this trigger amount. Okay, next we are going to see the API and services. Now with Google's APIs and services, you have API for almost everything here, right? And one important thing to note here is not all the APIs are enabled by default. If you look at the dashboard here, you will see that only some of the APIs here are enabled by default, and you can disable if you want to. For example, Google Cloud Compute Engine is not enabled, right? So if you want to enable Google Cloud Compute Engine, then you go to enable APIs, choose that, and then you're going to say basically click a button, say enable, right? And that will enable the API for you. But I'm not going to enable it here. I'm just going to use the Google Cloud SDK to enable the Compute Engine API, right? So that's something I wanted to show here. And the next is the Google Cloud Shell. The Google Cloud Shell is a very small virtual machine, and we activate the shell by just clicking here. Note that this is the first time it's provisioning my Google Cloud Shell machine, so it's going to take some time. A few points about the Google Cloud Shell is, first of all, it's free, and the second thing is you get like a 5 GB persistent home directory storage. What I mean by that is in that 5 GB in your home directory, you can actually store, and if you reboot the virtual machine, then all your data will be there. But let's say you just install a tool using apt-get install nmap or any other tool, that tool will be installed outside of the home directory, and hence after a reboot that tool won't be there. Now let's use the Google Cloud Shell. Now I can type here any command from gcloud or anything, because the good thing about the Google Cloud Shell is all these tools like Google Cloud SDK, your Git, your editors, and the supported programming languages, everything is pre-installed. So that's a great thing about this Google Cloud Shell, and I can just type Google Cloud Shell help and whatnot. But this is quite small, and I like to have a bit more real estate, so I'm just going to open that in a new window. and let it run and let it open, and there we go. Now we got some stuff here, and I can just say G Cloud projects list, and that should list both of my projects. And then you can enable like Compute Engine API from here too, but I'm not going to do this. I want to show you in the G Cloud SDK in the next demo. And then you have your programming languages installed as well, which is pretty neat. So for example, print hello, and yeah, hello is not defined. That's because I haven't passed it as a string. And so you have most of the programming languages. Then I have Git here as well, and then I got some editors and so on. So Google Cloud Shell is pretty neat, and since it's free, you just can use it whenever and wherever on the fly. I suggest you to check it out. So that's Google Cloud Shell for you. Now let's explore Google Cloud SDK.